You are the one teaching younger generations to be afraid of the cops, to hate people who don't look like them, and that they're oppressed because of their skin tone, and teaching them to weaponize their skin tone.
Hi guys, Gracie here once again. I hope you all are okay. Thank you to those of you that watch, comment, like, share, subscribe to the channel. It means a lot to me and I don't take any of that for granted. And I want to say thank you so very much once again. Yes, today's video is something that we all need to learn from, especially people that are coming from, Africa, and then those that are in the West. If we are looking at uniting as a people, then there are some conversations we should be willing and ready to really have, because that's going to help us bridge the gap that is happening, or that is between us. But yeah, guys, I want us to watch this clip together, then we get back and talk about it.
Wow, you did not just history lesson, y'all. So I come from a country called Kenya. This is our beautiful flag, okay? Kenya. Yep. We were colonized by the Brits. We got our independence in 1963. I, like you, could use that as an excuse to hate people who don't look like me. However, I'm living my life differently. Because I understand white people are not a monolith. That those who live now have nothing to do with what happened in the past. My husband's grandpa, his opa, used to be a Wehrmacht soldier. You know what that means? Look it up. But he came to America because he did not want that life anymore. Started a new life here. Held no prejudice against anyone, despite the fact that he came from Nazi Germany. It's a choice you make. You are making the choice to hate people based on their skin tone and justifying it because black people can be racist. Stop it. You are the one teaching younger generations to be afraid of the cops, to hate people who don't look like them, and that they're oppressed because of their skin tone, and teaching them to weaponize their skin tone and use it as a crutch and a way to blame everyone else for their problems. Do better. I want to keep living my life and teaching my children they are not colors. Good luck.
You wrote, so if someone that isn't white hates on a white person based on their skin color, what do you call that? You're not going to like my answer. I call it justifiable. White-bodied people have conquered and colonized almost this entire planet. As a history teacher, I teach my students about the scramble for Africa, in which all of these European countries came together to decide which parts of Africa they were going to colonize. And then about the age of exploration, in which Europeans sailed over to the Western Hemisphere and committed genocide against any and every indigenous population they came across. And then I teach about the transatlantic slave trade, and then slavery, and then Jim Crow, and then the war on drugs, and then mass incarceration, and then about people that deny the experience of Black, Brown, Indigenous, and other people of color to this day. So you ask me what I call a person that hates on a white person because they're white? I call them a reasonable human being who's just making decisions based on reason and experience.
I'm laughing because I did a video for my comedy special, African in New York, Almost Famous. And I took a segment of that video, and it was about how I felt no connection with Black Americans. And in this video, I explain that I felt no connection with Black Americans because having been born in Kenya and having been educated in Kenya, I know for sure that, and I consider myself to be fairly educated, that yes, I had heard about the word slave trade, but I had never known what that meant. And I had not even anticipated or made the connection between the people in America and slave trade. I had no idea. I did not even know about colonialism. Yes, I kind of knew the British were in Kenya because we celebrate Independence Day, but I didn't actually know what that meant. And the time I made this discovery was after the death of my father, when I started to research for my memoir, Through the Leopard's Gaze. And that's when I really understood what colonialism was, because I actually understood What my mother used to tell me, the places she told me that she used to live wasn't a place, it was a concentration camp. I went to Zanzibar and I went to a place called the Weeping Post. And there I was so shocked to find out what happened to the slaves and how they were bought, how they were captured, the songs that they sang. They sang songs like, please don't eat us. We'll give you meat, because they didn't know where they were being taken. They thought that the white people were taking them to go and eat them. They had no idea. So as a result, a lot of Africans have been commenting on my videos saying that Africans know about slave trade. But what do you really know about slave trade? What do you really know about colonialism? Because we are brainwashed to only have a fleeting kind of a glimpse of what that is, without any in-depth information about it. So please, please, please read more about colonialism and slavery, and then you'll understand what the Black Americans went through.
First of all, she's saying she's living her life differently because she's married to, yeah.
First, it is so inconsiderate and so insensitive of this person to call out people that are just trying to express the things that are really, really happening. I don't know if it has to happen to you first for you to understand, because I know a lot of our brothers and sisters that have been speaking like you, but until these things start happening to them, that is when they know the system is rotten and wicked, and it really do not favor people that look like you. You're trying to pretend as if Black people are not called monkeys. You're trying to pretend as if Black people are not called ugly and are told to go back to Africa.
Here I am checking in at a hotel, and the lady who's checking me in goes, "You're really pretty to be a dark-skinned girl." Usually I don't say anything. I thought about it. I'm like, nah. I told her straight up, that's not a compliment. It's not a compliment at all. She's like, yeah, I'm just saying, like, to be dark like you're really pretty. You saying it again in a different way doesn't make it better. And I told her, that's not a compliment. Like, that to me sounds like a colorist ass statement. You're basically implying that just being pretty isn't associated with being dark skinned. Like, it's two separate things. And I was like, that's not a compliment. Like, at this point, just check me in. You know, I told her it's a colorist statement. It's not a compliment.
These things are still real. But also her saying that the white people that are living right now have nothing to do with whatever happened and what is happening right now. I don't know. We wouldn't be seeing a lot of them coming out on the internet to actually bash Black people. You know, I know they are not the ones that existed back then, but yes, they carry the same DNA, like their own ancestors. Yes. And for you to say these things is to deny that white supremacy still exists in America. And I understand why you say that, because of where you're coming from and who you're married to, you know. But I have still seen a lot of Black women that are married to white men, but they still come to, you know, validate the feelings of other people that come out to say and, you know, address the injustices that are happening to them. So I just don't see the reason as to why it has to go through you for you to validate that it is really real. And if it has not happened to you, then that means, yeah, Black people are just victimizing themselves.
I am not a hater. I have no problem with anybody marrying outside of their race. You have every right to do whatever that you want to do as long as you find love, all right? But we can use that same narrative of you being married to those people to actually come out in defense. And you want Black people, you want young people that are just learning of their history right now to be passive aggressive and just brush things off and let things go. You know, one of the most painful thing is for you to think you know your history, but the reality is you don't know nothing about your history, because whatever you know is something that has been written and put down and handed to you by a white man to learn. So they teach you how to perceive them and how to perceive yourself. All right. I compare her to Candace Owens. She's always come out to support white people, and she's always been the black face to front how they feel about us. But when one day came and she annoyed them, she said wrong things that they didn't want to hear, they kicked her out. And now she pretends to come back on the side of black people. The same black people that she was roasting and disrespecting and telling them they are acting as victims. You understand? So we have a lot of people like her that have chosen to live their lives differently in a way that they are dismissive of other people's experiences. I see the reason as to why Black Americans normally come out to call out us African people that normally go to the West and we want to side with the white people. Anything that is close to white supremacy is something that they would love to identify with. So I understand them when they call us out and they're like, we are their bootlickers. Like I said, it goes back to history. We know nothing. If we knew something, we would side and stand by our own people. You feel like you're going to be privileged by you saying these sweet nothings. It is very, very deliberate because they want to make you feel like you are better than the nationals or the Black Americans so that you feel like you are above them. It benefits them. I hope that we all understand that them making you feel like you siding with them and trying to defend their narratives, it does not benefit you at all. It keeps you in that position and it keeps us melanated queens and kings divided because we are going to have one side that wants to keep the interests of the white people, and then we have people that already know how they are, what they have done from the past, and they don't want anything to do with them. You may not understand the pain, especially you as an African young person. You may not understand the pain that these people have had to go through. Maybe when you're driving with your white man, so you are privileged. Nobody's gonna touch you. But what of them that are married to black men, that are scared, that literally do not know if their man is gonna come back? What of them that are raising black kids that do not, because she's saying we are teaching young kids to be scared of cops. Can you even be friends with cops in America, especially if you are a black person? Let's stop pretending that things are okay. Like I said, we are taught to brush off things and, brush off things and just move on and be okay with everything. That is the same reason as to why the continent of Africa is in this position that it is in today. Because we tolerate, we welcome, we are so open. And you know what they do? They call us foolish and stupid, just like they called the Native Americans for welcoming them and feeding them. And they're like, we found another group of dumb people. Your niceness to them is a ground for them to abuse and play with. You understand? Like I said, it is the same reason as to why the continent is where it is at. Because we have failed to realize who our enemies are. Now I understand we have a lot of white people that say these things and they are saying, no, this is not right. Okay? But majority of them, it is ingrained in them to be saviors, to conquer, to loot, to unalive. For them, it is all about power. It is only you black people that consider feelings and emotions. The people that you are dealing with are emotionless, and they will not find any problem with kicking you out as soon as, you don't serve their interests anymore. You understand? Plus, if you have not lived people's experiences, do not dismiss them. You do not know why you even ended up in America. Because if the same people that you're talking about, they are weaponizing their skin, if they did not fight for the rights of the blacks like you, you wouldn't even end up there. The real enemy is not your brother that is warning you and telling you tread lightly, because they know, they have dealt with it and they have been there. And the reason as to why you are even able to enjoy those freedoms, it's not because of the white man that you married. No, it's because of black people that fought for civil rights, for people that look like you to even end up in America. So nobody is weaponizing their skin. These things are still real. Racism is still live and kicking in America. Not just in America, it is still live and kicking in Europe. Everywhere you go, to an extent that the same people that you're trying to defend, even when they come to our countries, they literally treat us like shit. Yeah, until we start speaking out. That is how these things are going to end. So do not keep quiet. Keep putting these things in front of their faces. It does not matter what they are going to think and what people like you are going to think. Let people speak. Let people express their narratives. Period.